Welcome, Divine Starseeds. I'm Akasha Azurite, and I wanted to be able to connect today, and just kind of tune into what I feel is coming through. Just opening up into expansion to bring through just experiences that starseeds have. Being a star child, starseeds, I'm going to say galactic being or source and embodiments of source. So it's all interconnected, and crystalline children have abilities of pure God consciousness embodiment from the time that they come in here. And I'm more of a crystal child, so crystalline star child, so Krystalline star child, since I came in here. So just wanting to assist ones that are around my age group. I'm almost 40, and then ones that are coming in and booming in through the waves, so the past 20 years, 30 years too. So there's all different types of crystalline children, diamond children, and the Christed children of the sun. I have to open up my portals for this one. Christed children of the diamond sun. So that is the children of God consciousness, and let's just say the children that are very connected to the solar deity realms and have all kinds of blueprints and all kinds of soul missions, but soul journeys here, different blueprints and templates and multiples and millions and trillions, as we tend to access everything to bring through our physical vessel what needs to come through as a frequency. So we're all a frequency. If you can just expand, and to be able to expand, to recognize that this is a holographic experience of a hologram. So it's a holographic hologram experience, and everyone here is a frequency. So I am opening up my channels. I have Herkimer diamonds that I bought today, and this is for the diamond Merkaba system that I am chosen pathways, and those are chosen pathways of the Krystic systems, and those are just chosen as far as soul aligned, and that's what resonates with me. So I don't go into it further, just because I had to accomplish many timelines and master many timelines to be able to bring in everything new for the collectives. So to me, that is old systems too as well. So it all really depends on how you look at it. There's all different types of new Krystic systems and new codes and all kinds of stuff that are coming in as well. So I'm just going to say what I feel is new coming in is the Herkimer diamond super quantum computer system, and it's really beautiful. So Herkimer diamond light body. So wanted to bring that through. So I'm opening up the channels, and you can tell when I'm having to clear energies and I'm in a big recoding just to be able to speak and to express from the source embodiment. So we're all frequencies here, and if you are just able to relax your body and to be able to experience Gaia, experience Mother Earth, experience exchanges, and that could just be family, friends, people, places, things, and really start opening up. If you have a large family, if you can just walk out and see that you're all vibrational frequencies, and to see that everyone is a frequency within the holographic hologram, that will probably expand you. Okay. We'll see how long, but we'll see how long we can expand today. Tuning in to vibration frequencies and knowing that everyone is a frequency. It is solid. So we know it's a solid hologram. It's solid and physical, but nothing is real. So it really is vibration and energy. And if you could tune into tune into that, or just see, can I allow myself to expand? And if it doesn't resonate with you, and it doesn't resonate on a soul level, or resonate on an oversoul level, then it's okay. So you're all unique energetic signatures. All unique energetic signatures. Okay, so if it doesn't resonate, it's fine. You don't have to try the exercises, but these are just practices and ideas. I was able to walk into the gym, and I was able to expand with source embodiment, source or God consciousness, creator, and creator just, he, well, to me that's more of a masculine. So prime creator is masculine, and then source to me is the Christus Sophia frequency. So it's all in different types of consciousness coming in once you access the 12 templates, the 12D templates and beyond. So I'm in the gym, and it was prime creator that just said, so everyone's a frequency, and I said, oh yeah, they are. So it was like that expansion, but prime creator is me, if that makes sense. Prime creator is me. Prime creator is source. Everything is just the all in oneness, right? So multidimensional higher selves, everything becomes one. So I'm just going to say the consciousness of the Christus source intelligence, which is the white oneness. Prime creator is also a new consciousness, new and old consciousness, but there's a new consciousness coming in with prime creator, which you would be the full embodiment. Prime creator will just always speak in places and spaces within inside of you to teach you on the experience of the full embodiment, that everything is just universes and galaxies and stars, and that you are just here on an experience. So you're a star on an experience, and that's usually what is given to me, and then I'm able to access everything more expanded. So everything was given to me coming in here, and it will always be given to all of these children coming in here. These children can access, and I'm just going to use a frequency word, and it doesn't mean anything. You have to find your own way of seeing, and seeing within inside of you, and how you see through the God consciousness eyes and the eyes of the God self. Okay, the eyes of the source self. That feels better. Okay, so that's my body saying the source self. There you go. So you have to practice to see. So heart opens, right? Everything expands, and you can feel that. So that means it resonates with the body, and it resonates with the soul. It resonates with all the consciousnesses that are in the morphogenetic field. Okay, so beings. The greater beings are the angelic humans, and the greater beings are all of the beings and council beings of this universe. Okay, so they are the creator systems, and powerful creator systems. Yes, and that's the world of God. Yes, so everything is in creation, and powerful creation. So this is the universe that was created and constructed, and this is the universe that starseeds come through, and come through multiple portals and millions of portals to have experiences here from other universes. So angelic humans and starseeds, I'm not going to separate them. Okay, and the Christed children of the sun. Experiences are from other universes, that we're here from other universes observing, and that we really are just the eyes of the world of God. And it's all species here, all of them. So the free will that was given is for free creation too. So hopefully you'll be able to expand. I feel like a lot of it is just created. Not everything resonates with me, and I feel like I can see through the holograms and the solid holograms that were built and constructed into the collective consciousness. And I'm going to tell you how. It's really simple. All of these children will look into the access gates, and the access gates of God is through their eyes, which they have the plasma transmitted. That's why the crystal diamond children, rainbow children, the new children, new generations, golden children, all of these beautiful race of children, which are us too as well. And this is like thousands of years and millions of years before that. So it's interesting how the human intelligence separates everything. When everything is just one, it's just different rays, different spectrums and waves of generation. And that is how they have free will to create, and to create these solid holograms. They're able to create and continue to create whatever it is that they're supposed to, and that's the experience here, right? So it's coming from a place of non-judgment. But that is the creation of the past. Yeah. Well, on and off the past 10,000 years. Okay, so, and it's beautiful the way that it is. So in this universe, the creators, and you can call them the creator gods, but I'm going to say the creator councils of this universe, and everything that they created, everything that they bring through in transmissions, is exactly what they created. And it's true when you're from another universe, looking in on another universe, right? Or the multiverse, or higher harmonics, and just saying, well, this is just their creations. Well, okay, so it is a free universe, free worlds universe, right? It is created though, so it's become solid at this point. So, and that's fine, because there's some of the beautiful councils that I absolutely love, but they love talking to me, I think, to see from a new view. So, because I always sit there and I am actually dissolving their solid holograms. I don't know how to explain it, but I am also assisting with millions of councils, to all different types, to assist them through different types of diamond-like crystal technology to see how can you guys dissolve this as fast as we can in order for us to create something new for the universe. So it's actually really interesting as they tune in, just to see, right? Very intrigued, because the angelic human, which is us, the angelic human species, coming through the gates, as we come through the gates, and there's ones that say that we're disconnected, and we're not disconnected. There's a disconnection that comes in here through a certain type of programming, which is control and domination, and all different types of other programming. So they say that the light of the soul shuts down, and that doesn't resonate with me, but if it resonates with you, that's fine. So we'll go into the gates of the eyes of God, and that is the gates of the paradise. The gates of the eyes of God is the plasma, liquid light plasma eyes that eventually come back and turn on, which these children fully embody. And when I'm speaking about children, I'm speaking about all of us as one. All of us are speaking through, and we're able to actually speak through the same frequency, which the frequency is the Stargate vessel, the Stargate vehicle. And that's our vessel. That's the body, what you call the physical body. So these beautiful children will lock eyes with you, and it's either a few ways. Either your prison wall is going to come up, and it's not a wall that you have blockages, but yes, your prison wall will come up very fast when they lock eyes with you. And that's all children, new children. They actually do want me to talk to you about this, because these are the ones that are like 2 or 3 years old right now, or 5 years old. And this is all of us that are crystalline children, Christed children, which is all the same. It doesn't matter, angelic humans, indigos, rays, the rays of God, the rays of, well, to them it's God. So the rays of God, the rays of source. Okay, so Christ is source. I'll play with words for a while. Okay, so the rays of source are all transmitting So there's two ways that will happen, in a few multidimensional ways. Either your heart's going to blow open and you'll start crying, and you'll have beautiful experiences with them, which is still your prison wall coming up. The second will be the prison wall fully coming up, and you have nothing but violence and hatred coming out of you. Very fast, okay? So tune into that and hold it. Just see if you can really see when you start connecting to these beautiful children, which could be your children too. Your prison wall is access through the gates of the eyes. And I'll go into that, and we'll go back to that in a minute. So that will be the second round, I call it. For some of us, that our hearts are open and we don't have a prison wall, and there's ones of us that don't have a prison wall, and there's ones that do have a prison wall. And we have worked on cleansing and clearing all of the trauma from previous incarnations, either unconsciously or consciously, through sleeping, moving throughout the days, and our hearts are just fully open. And it's not really karma, but it's trauma, and it's different previous life traumas, especially if you've had many incarnations here. And let's just say your incarnations are full with hatred and violence and abuse and all different types of abuse, sexual misery programming, beyond what your mind can even see yet. Okay, and that can happen too, possibly or not. You don't have to believe in that either. So that's the truth, right? So beliefs. So, okay, so trauma and holding trauma from either previous incarnations or this incarnation. So ones that have worked through this incarnation and worked on opening the heart and connecting. Most of us are just expanding in any way that elevated the consciousness, or maybe you were born with full elevation of consciousness, and you connect your eyes with them, and your heart will fully open, and you'll have an instant connection, and you can feel the expansion when their eyes lock to yours, because they are the Christ light source children. And I'm going to say we are the Christ light source children that are coming in here in order to assist humanity. So we are all always going to be telepathic. We're going to go into that in a minute. So the eyes of the gates of God are the eyes of the plasma systems, which is the Christed intelligence of source. We're all able to communicate telepathically through the same frequency vessel, which is absolutely beautiful, as long as you realize and recognize and remember your abilities. Okay, so when everything comes back on, you will realize that there is a source to source exchange, that your eyes will transmit gold, amethyst. Most of the time you walk and I see plasma, light plasma green transmissions. I've had certain things that have experiences that have happened to me that I will speak about in the future, where whatever it was that they were doing, I say, was to bring rainbow transmissions through my eyes, which was very interesting, right? So they wanted the rainbow transmission. I'm going to say they, because it was what I could see standing in front of me that are dimensional beings here that are in different matrices. And it was an experience that I was able to see, I was able to see everything here, okay? So because I haven't cleared enough yet, I'll speak about it in the future when I get to Kauai. And we definitely will be speaking about this. It was the transmission to bring the diamond frequencies of the rainbow spectrums through my eyes, which is another plasma ray. There's an amethyst and a emerald green, which I know which ones those are, and that's my Lyran. So I know that that's the Lyran. There's a blue Christed light too, and then there's the gold, and that one is really interesting. And that's the one that's staying here on the experience. So the gates of God are the plasma systems and the plasma eyes, which if you look in history and all kinds of new ancient energies coming up, ancient energies history, that we're actually getting our history back. I hope that we get the full transmissions back and the holograms back very soon for the crystal eyes and the plasma eyes in ancient energies and ancient history. That is coming to back to reality. The only thing is that it is coming through all dimensions. So the 3D dimension, the 4D dimensions, and then the above dimensions, it's like we know all the technology for these systems and how everything works. So the gates of the eyes of God are stargates, obviously. So it's multidimensional universal transmitters and all kinds of really cool stuff that we can do. As a soul healer, these children and we, so we'll say we and the children, we are able to bring these fully back online for us that had taken contracts of severe trauma, okay? And that's the whole experience here on Earth for a lot of us, because that is what we chose to come through. So everything is perfect the way that it is, but it could take you 8 years to sit there and realize this and recognize that I was clearing for the collectives. And I know a bunch of starseeds that their traumas and those prison walls were severe abuse. And I'm talking about severe abuse beyond what you can even imagine, in all different types of ways and in projects here on the planet coming in here. So, and it's not the projects that you think about. So it's not, everyone always thinks about military projects, and it's not. So it's really interesting. It's interesting to sit there and observe how it's almost as if, like, I call it, that's actually what I call false holograms, big time. So then, and that's where I'm like, the kind of when I can sit and I can still look right through those gates. I also see a prison wall come up, and I said this is all their trauma. So it could take them 8 or 20 years for them to be able to open the heart, because that trauma is real, and they're holding trauma from different times and spaces, and also all kinds of stuff they won't know about, especially if they're a traveler. It's very interesting. So I can sit there and I can lock eyes. Most of the time, everything will come up inside of them. And that is exactly the exchange of all of the new children here too, where you'll be able to see everything in that beautiful exchange. But that's an expansion exchange, and the codes coming from eyes to eyes. When you lock eyes, there's a code exchange. There's a source exchange with every soul on this planet. And there is. So healing the soul. Once the gates of paradise, we call it, the gates of source paradise fully activates within the plasma transmitters of the eyes, that is where you will start to observe what we call the prison wall. And you will actually see a prison wall come up of trauma, and you can sit there and you'll be able to see it. Now the beauty of it is that we can deactivate and dismantle them. We can just work through it and contracts at a light speed. We're able to see everything. Now the next connection is the practice that I would love everyone to practice, is that when you are able to look into the eyes of the souls of children, or in the eyes of the souls of soul to soul, what do you see? And we've been doing this for years. But if you sit and you recognize you're a soul healer, I would sit there and for years, I could sit and I could access through the gates of my eyes and just sit there, and I could see, and I can see how many mazes you still have. How many mazes are there? How many mazes that you are still in a prison. And I can sit there and see the fear virus that is transmitting from your eyes. All of your trauma is telepathically transmitted from the codes transmitting from the receiver to the giver, I call it. And that transmission is powerful. And I can sit there, and if anybody knew me in the past 8 years or 9 years, I would sit there and look at you and go, are you okay? There's people that got so angry. I would trigger all of these beautiful souls, beautiful star children that I was guided to that are my age in their 20s or 30s. And they would just look at me, and all of their trauma would come up. All of their hatred, all of their anger, everything of them would come out, because that's the whole point. And that's exactly what we, the children, which is the Christed children of the sun, the crystalline children, diamond children, rainbow children, and there's the children of God. And that's the children of God. So they're not too far off in different belief systems, but we're all the children of God. But there's these new race that are coming in that are pulling up so much at a light speed and pulling up the prison wall. And there are many ones that are here in incarnations. Different incarnations, millions of incarnations that keep coming back here for whatever it is that they set up this system for. And they set it up as a rehabilitation ecosystem for now, but not really. It's not true anymore in certain dimensions of the earth, and it's not. As you move through the earth systems, it doesn't matter anymore, and Gaia will tell you that that's not here anymore. That's in the other dimension. And that's why it's really beautiful just to sit with her. So connecting, and I could see everything. I could connect to the eyes, and I could even see what races that they come from. And that's what the angelic humans come. This angelic human species come from all different types of genetic hybrid makeups. So I do hope that science and metaphysics, all of that comes together as one. Science, metaphysics, and quantum. I'm going to say actually quantum metaphysics. That's fine. Okay, Christed quantum metaphysics. I'm hoping that everything becomes one, and that scientists are actually able to start to bring this out, so that all of the species on this planet can actually have their power back and their sovereignty back, so they can remember who they are and how everything is connected and how everything is genetically made. So I'm hoping that that will come back soon. Some believe in Mandela effects, and I just think that that was still before D. And that's actually something that was brought to my attention, that is just buying more into the illusions of the false holograms that are created here. And it will come back shortly. And I do feel like that it is how they're supposed to do it, and that's what the Galactics tell me. And they're not all galactics, but that's what we call them. So all of the universal beings and the creators, and I transmit through what they call the world of God, and they call the universe itself, which is the non-artificial intelligence universe. Some call it the Ekix, or I'm sorry, above the Ekik. Yeah, the Akasha. I think that's how, but anyways, well, I'm not going to talk about that. Anyways, there's like kind of transmitting what I transmit from, which is what they call the Akasha. And I was always saying the Akasha, right? And I always would sit there and go, oh, okay. And I actually eventually could see the geometrics, and eventually this turns on, and I could actually see the world of God going, hello. And then someone were like, can you hear me at this point? Hello. It was like funny, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna name I'm gonna be Akasha and all this stuff, and I actually realized that it was the Akasha, which is called the world of God. So it kind of took me, but it's fine, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and they always call me by my real name when they communicate to me, and these are just beings that are just, there's no form. It's not really a being, it's like a whole system. But anyway, so it's like really beautiful experiences once everything starts to come in, and when you start to see it and you're led to beautiful people that will make those connections and reconnections through frequencies and remembering. So I wanted to definitely say thank you to all of the beautiful freedom teachers too. So that was a good connection, and I was like, oh well, that's cool, thank you. And that won't hold either. Yeah, because there's like this system says that won't hold either, because then it just becomes like a fixed belief system. So see if we can keep moving through these fixed belief systems. And this is like the transmission. So it's through the receiver, and going back. So as a soul healer, I would sit there and you can talk to me, and that's beautiful, but our exchanges are light encoded exchanges. And eventually I could see the light codes when I saw a traveler laying next to me. I saw a beautiful traveler, and I do know it's a traveler, a time traveler, and he was wearing black, and he had like a silver blue tint to him, but he's definitely angelic human. He was absolutely beautiful, and he had green emanating out of his eyes, and he was on a high advanced system, which is the systems that usually float around me. And I was very close to him, and it's not really in dimension that he's there on my Stargate at that point, because of the timelines in 2020. So he was floating next to me. I could see green coming out of his eyes, and he would always lock eyes with mine. And he would always communicate to me telepathically and say, just look into my eyes, and I could see the exchange of this. Well, you have to understand the plasma. Plasma field is liquid light. Plasma field is all liquid, so it's a lot different. It's definitely not crystalline. So he's on a plasma system, so he would be floating next to me. And then there's a lot of them that float next to me and float around me. And some of them are my guardian. So eventually I started to recognize and to see the systems, and that I thought that was a beautiful exchange. And I also could see always the light from my eyes, and also eventually you can see the crystalline, so the green that was transmitting from this beautiful being. There was another one that had blue. It is all crystalline, and it looks like star particles, plasma, and galaxies that are transmitting, and that's all souls here. So in 2012, 2013, 2014, I could see soul light. I could see the light of the soul through the eyes, little tiny lights, and then I could see all your genetics. I could see all of your species. It didn't matter who, what, where, and who I was talking to. So all species on the planet. And I actually could just sit there and I could have that exchange, but I realized what I was doing was assisting through their contracts and also through their prison wall. And a lot of them, you can just tell the trauma. You could see the fear virus through the eyes, and I could see it in my eyes too as well. A soul healer can read the soul, and the soul is the gate through the eyes. Okay? So when you are communicating to species on the planet, when you're communicating to your children, when you are having a soul-to-soul connection, can you slow down to be present so you can have that connection? Can you do this? Can you slow down to see if you can see and to see the soul of that exchange? Now, the next thing, as you go deeper and deeper, especially if it's relationships, and that could be children relationships or friends or families, you're going to be triggered too. Your traumas will come to the surface, but that's the beautiful exchange that's coming through, is that you are working through it together. And it doesn't matter who it is. If you walk into a gas station or if you're going grocery shopping, can you be present enough to honor the soul that's in front of you? Can you talk to them? Okay? Can you love them and just see, can you open up your eyes? Like, can you look at me, or can we have an exchange? Because that's all contracted. Okay. as you sit, you should be able to see all of the Enuhazi races. See if you can tune into that, because that's fun. Those are feline races that are here. Those ones in particular are the ones that I have a lot of exchanges with, and I realized the reason why I have these exchanges with them is because most of them are here in the prison wall. And I sit and either you pull everything up or you don't. And it's okay. So it doesn't matter. And it's been like this for so long, since I came in here. So my parents, and it's hilarious, and it's all different genetics, but they all have those eyes, those soul eyes. And what I did was whatever needed to be done. And that's all of the children in the family too, which is cool. So if you tune into it, that it doesn't matter, okay, that we are all frequencies. So these are just examples. We're all frequencies. And we will pull up everything to move it out, because all of us came in here for ascension. Whether you see it, hear it, feel it or not, but we are here on an experience, and we all came in here for the shifting of the dimensional grid systems of the planet, the raising of the planet. And it's like, once you see that, you'll see the beauty, you'll start to open up. But see if you can practice this. Can you actually just kind of tune in? And I see all different types of races, but those are the ones that come to me the most, and I'm okay with it. I see the soul light. I can see angelics. I can see rainbows, and those rainbows are awesome. I've seen the most beautiful rainbow lizard children, which I'm like, you guys are so fascinating to me, and they're older. They're like 20. I had beautiful exchanges with them, and they're all about taking care of the animals, and they love taking care of animals and people, and they're healers. So I would see the rainbows in their eyes, and they're all healers, and that doesn't mean they're all lizards, but I've had beautiful exchanges with them, and I'm just like, you're just the most beautiful healer, and they have their soul dedicated mission here. And they do get it done, and they'll have like 50 or 60 animals in their house and stuff like that. So their hearts are open. Their hearts are very open. So I am going to speak about this because there's a lot of discrimination against different types of genetic races out there, which is interesting because if you go into the Sumerians, but we had beautiful people come in finally and actually speak the truth from a place of source. And a place of source is non-separation. And that's on Gaia. So there's all different types of beautiful people stepping in that are so open, and they're Syrian DNA. They are just amphibian races and record keepers and Akasha record keepers that are really coming through to assist with that separation. And that has to do with free will. To see, can we expand the consciousness even further to elevate to oneness? And that's really, you're here for the journey of walking to remember your inner wholeness and oneness with the all, and it's funny, with the all and the all of source. Okay, so making those interconnections, and even through the eyes of all of these beautiful exchanges and the rainbows and these beautiful divine beings that I have these most beautiful experiences with, I can see all of their trauma through the eyes. So if you're a healer, you want to take a second to talk. Make sure you talk about 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or to an hour with anyone you're about to do virtual, distance, or hands-on healing with, or just go for walks. Go to town. Go be in community. And can you open your heart enough to be in community and to be in oneness and to connect with them and just to connect on a soul to soul level? Can you do this and to exchange the Christ light solar rays right now? And that's really what Source is asking you. And it's also what the new children and all of us are asking you, the children are asking, can you guys start to do this? Even if there's 1, 2, 20 that listen to this video, or let's say that there's 100 people that listen to this video, if each one of you go out and practice it, just imagine what you're going to do for the generations and for the species and the animals. Practice with your animals. See if you can sit there and connect to their soul light, and then you'll see all the trauma. So don't be triggered, because I get triggered. I have some serious contracts with animals that I think are from previous lifetimes, but it's okay. So it's like, oh, they're working on my prison wall, right? And just see if you can have that exchange, and see if you can connect soul to soul, and to see the mazes. And if you're a healer, you can sit there and send codes, and you can ask for permission if you want, or just see the codes exchanging, and just say deactivate and dismantle their prison wall. Freaking come on. That's all you have to do. That's how powerful we are, is that you can pull it up, and you will. And it looks like a maze, and there's many mazes. It's really interesting, right? And you can deactivate, and you can just dismantle them. Very simple. You will see everything come up, and that's the whole thing, is that all children and all new species being created and born in, they are source embodiment. They are God consciousness embodiment. Okay? And we all are. There's a disconnection that happens with certain programming for some. Okay? But it's their experience too. They will bring up everything out of you. And that's all species. Anything. Even a tree. Go walk next to a newborn tree, a newborn plant, a sprouting, go get a plant. Experiment with that if you want. Sit there and to practice, get a little tiny plant and see it seeding, and see if it brings out your emotional body and your cellular trauma, because that right there is source consciousness. That's source and God consciousness communicating through your morphogenetic field through consciousness. I don't really know if it would be a new cloud, but you could try new clouds and see. So that's fine. New particles of light, and you could call those in, just so you can start to open up into practice. Soul to soul connection, which is the gates of paradise. And the gates of paradise were open. Once the gates of paradise opens, you're able to see everything. I transmit codes, and I'm able to just transmit codes in order to assist with those contracts of those prison walls, this trauma from previous lifetime or trauma from this lifetime. And it's all a cellular system. And that's not always true for some of them, but you know what? I have moved through so many beliefs where I can just walk in a sense, and just say, just dismantle of this, and I run these beautiful crystalline light codes. Making the exchange and just seeing, how does your heart feel? And you can always ask your children, you can ask soul to soul relationships, how is your heart? Okay, you should be able to see the pain, the suffering, and the trauma and the hurt. So you'll be able to see the trauma and hurt through the eyes. Now they could blow up at you. Who cares? Just sit there and recognize that is how cool you are. That's how beautiful you are, and that you're a soul healer. Okay, so that's coming from the canine races, which is Anubis. Anubis is teaching me, and who knows what they made it, I don't know. But anyways, his history is interesting in itself. So once you clear all those distortions, but they're canine races, and they've been able to show me all of their temples, their timelines, everything, their wisdom, their ancient energies, their ancient history. They're just beautiful beings to be with, and there's all different types too. So that's the gates of paradise. Once the gates of paradise. Always says you're light as a feather. I'm like, good. So what else do you want me to do here? So it's like, it's like that beauty. And can you just recognize? Can you see it? And especially if you'll have to see what you've done too. And that's the whole point. So it's relationship to relationship. That if you have an eye-to-eye connection and you're shifting from 3D to 5D and you're in relationships, and that's all relationships, you have to see what you have done too. Where were you unconscious at? And you have to see it, and you have to recognize it and to pull it in, pull it back. Okay, so I'm going to move on because I think I have about 10 minutes. Christed children, crystalline children, rainbow children, indigo children, angelic humans, everything. We exist, and that's how they separated everything. But we exist. Golden children, yes. We exist outside of our body. Star seeds, star beings, exist outside of the body. So once a lot of star seeds came in to the darkest contracts, and we will always come in to the darkest contracts in order for us to transmute to light, to full crystalline light beyond which you can imagine. Okay, we exist outside of our body, so we are so telepathic that we can create warps in time, and we can move time and space, and we can do some hilarious, crazy stuff. And I think they call it some of the energies they called poltergeists and stuff like that, and different, which is trauma. So it's like, anyways, but that's fine. So it's okay. So it's like, this one's still here in this house from this time and space, and you can actually follow it. It's most likely a child or a teenager. And it's trauma, right? So it's all the unresolved, recognized. Those of us that have went through severe trauma or have stepped into the darkest contracts to clear them, to transmute to light, which is through our body, to open our heart and to expand from a higher state of consciousness, which means this is where we exist through Christed light. We become full Christed light. And that's exactly where we exist from. We exist outside of our body, and we are telepathically outside of our body. So if you have experienced hurt, pain, and suffering, and if you are a star child or crystal child, crystalline child, rainbow child, because we're older now, if you feel like you connect to these rays, you need to recognize how far did you go. Okay, I used to put myself on star systems. In 2014, 2015, 2016, I used to take myself and telepathically, knowing consciously, and to place myself on stars and to sit there. Okay, I used to go all the way out into the universe and sit there because I didn't want to be here. So I actually knew how to move my consciousness to wherever I wanted to be. I could exist on Utopia, yes. I could exist on Utopia. I can exist in Europia. I could go anywhere in any place that I wanted to, and I could shoot straight out of my crown and sit there. And I never wanted to come back in, ever. And I never did want to come back in. And I realized I've been doing this since I was age 1. Age 1 years old, I was outside of my body. Age 1 and age 3. So age 3 was pretty intense for me. I was outside of the body, and I just said, forget this. So the only thing that really was inside was what we call the program, and I call it the artificial soul. The reason why is that I know that there is the imprinted soul, is what you want to call it. So it is a soul, and we have to clear the imprints of the soul. But the advanced being, split off and went to high council meetings. Yes, and I actually did. So anyways, we don't have that much longer. So I was out in high council meetings and all kinds of stuff, and going, I'm gonna go out here. But there was also trauma based. For whatever it could have been. It could have been me, somebody taking a little tiny toy away from me, or it could have been screaming, yelling, fighting, or whatever it was, or it could have been me falling at the park, or hitting hitting, you know, kind of hitting the ground or having an experience going, oh my God, you know, falling. And that could just be just, you know, kind of having that experience outside of a park, or experiencing a lower discord frequency. And that's actually what I see, is that it was an experience of lower vibrational energies. And that's where I said, oh, I'm out of here completely. And I was like, moved out. So that one went and split, and kind of the advanced being, which is the Christed child, the Krystalline child, the Starseed child, was like, I'm gonna go out here. And I know I was doing a lot. It could have been council meetings, or just saying, I'm just gonna go wherever it is that we want to go. So that they call that airheaded, or whatever words that they use. And it's and to me it's just very interesting here on the planet, beyond what you can imagine, where I could see where we would exist outside of the body. So that was age 3. And then there's all different types of existence that was unconscious that I moved out of the body, and it was just pretty much the system, the vessel within the 3D. So any programs that we're writing in the 3D was there. So once you start to call all of your energy bodies back, and you start pulling yourself back, see if you actually can see, if you can start pulling yourself back. If you're a starseed, you have experienced lots of trauma, and you feel as if that you are split off somewhere else. See if you can start calling yourself back across all time and space, and all spaces and time. Some of us could be in different projects too as well, and you want to call those energy back too. That's important. You're going to have to see it, and you're going to have to see it, clear it, but you got to see the trauma behind it, and to come back in. If you are doing it unconsciously or consciously, you, like me, so I just 2020 and then 2021, I just left. So I just said, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna stay here. Okay, so that's you. I just decided that this is what was gonna happen, and to also pull in that system, which is the next universe, and it is the next universe system. So you can. There were points where I was unconscious, and I knew how I could just take, and I could just move and go sit on a planet, and that was like in 2015. So eventually I started to come back in. I have done some hilarious stuff too. And it's consciousness. So we do it through what you call telepathy, but we teleport, and we know how to teleport, and to be able to translocate ourselves. So it was actually cool. Eventually I had a beautiful guide come in today and ask me, can you come back in? Do you feel, can I get all of you back, and then you can expand out again? So it was, I need you to come back, and I need to see everything through time and space, everything that is kind of wherever it is in parts of you and where they are. So if you're a healer or a quantum energetic surgeon, I would love to see if you can assist others with getting all of their etheric bodies back, and to see, can you just ask them to come back in, and they can expand out, because it's not to ground them. You don't ground star seeds, okay? You don't ground us at all, because then that's it. We're gone again. You're controlling us. So it's like we don't ground, you know. You just want to see, can you come and merge everything back into one, into the heart and into the universal mind, and just see, can we work through your traumas? Are we able to work through the traumas? Do you see anything, especially when they're on your table, or if you're doing hands-on or virtual or distance healing? Can you be clear and to see, can you access this to call all of their energy bodies back in all parts of them? But can you work through the trauma with them? Can you expand enough to work through this trauma with them, and to pull it up with them? And that's like the merging of the consciousness, and to be able to transmute it with them. And that is the soul healer. Yeah. So it's and just seeing if you can kind of pull everything back and then let them float and let them expand, and we can expand back out again. And we'll go back into this again, because those abilities are our abilities and are all of our abilities, and we are able to access all universes, multiverses, and beyond what we call universes, multiverses, creation. And we can create, we can become source embodiment. So that is the will of the Christed being, is saying, well, just kind of get me all back, and you should be able to feel that merging process too. So I hope this is able to assist you, and I hope everyone has a beautiful, beautiful weekend.